All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We're super excited to have the one and only Allie Darr here with us. She's going to be presenting on overcoming adversity. So let me tell you a little bit about Allie. Allie's an extremely resilient coach, and she's done a lot of fantastic things in the business. So she's a five-star elite coach, which is phenomenal. She's also ranked at top 75 out of a network of over 400,000 coaches. So she's got some things figured out. She's really learned a lot of things along the way. And we're really excited for her to be able to chat with you and talk to you about this topic of overcoming adversity. I think all of us have different degrees of adversity that we encounter in our lives. And really how we react to that and what we do when we encounter adversity will really widely determine what our results are and how things go for us moving forward. So, Allie, what I'd love to do is I'd love to just have you kind of give us the scoop on you. How did you get to know Beachbody? How did you become a coach? What's been your coaching journey so far? If you could kind of dive into all of that stuff, I want these guys to really understand that, everybody starts, everybody puts their pants on one leg at a time, right? So I'd love for them to kind of get to know you and what your journey has been.
Okay, perfect. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, cool. I'm Allie Darr. Thank you so much for having me on the call. I'm just going to go into why I started Beachbody and when I started Beachbody. I started after we had baby number 4 in 5 years, and I wasn't losing the weight. So I knew I needed to do something, and I started the 21-day fix. And I had no interest in really coaching or drinking Shakeology. I kind of thought it was a sham, and I figured that I was just going to sell off all my packets and get rid of them because I wasn't going to drink it. So anyways, I started doing the program, and I fall in love with it, and that's what really started my journey. People started seeing me lose weight, and I saw that I could help people tremendously, and that's where it kind of took off. And I started really slow. Like I said, I didn't want to do a business with it. But it kind of snowballed into it. So I spent my first couple months just really doing the program, getting comfortable with it, and getting my results. And I feel like a lot of new coaches kind of skip that part. So I really dove into just doing the program over and over and over again. And that's what happened. And then finally people started seeing what I was doing and wanted to join. So anyways, that is the beginning of my story. And I went diamond in about 8 months, and then ended last year at 5-star Diamond Elite, which was insane in itself because I never thought it would be possible. Last year in July, I was sitting at Summit and watching all the elite coaches walk on the stage, and I was like, there's no way I can do that this year. Like, there's no way it's going to happen whatsoever. And then I got home and I was like, you know what? I need to try for this. I can totally do it if I try for it. So I rallied my coaches and did a lot of training with them, and I'm really involved with them, and I'll talk about that more later. But we made it to 5-star qualification in November. And the same week I started 5-star qualification, I felt sick, and we found out I was pregnant with baby number 5. So I'm in this 5-star qualification, which you guys know, sitting in qualification and trying to hold rank is super stressful in itself. And then to find out we're having another baby, it was insane. I thought for sure, like, how am I going to handle this business? How am I going to manage 4 kids and a baby and all this stuff and all my coaches? And it was just a very stressful time. I made it through the qualification and hit elite, and was super proud of my team, and everything was going great. I was documenting this pregnancy on YouTube, but I was turning my whole business to this pregnancy and this journey through this pregnancy. And I had my 20-week appointment. I hope I don't get emotional. Everything was going great. I just turned 30, and I had my 20-week appointment for the baby. We had found out it was baby boy number 5, and I mean, everybody knew. I told everybody. I was documenting on Facebook. It was very well known that I was pregnant. I mean, it's still even on my Facebook cover. I need to change it because at my 20-week appointment, I found out he didn't have a heartbeat, and it was very, very tough for me to hear that news, number one, and to have to deliver our son, because you have to deliver it when you're that far along. And it was awful, and was probably the hardest thing me and my husband have ever had to do. But my Beachbody family rallied behind me, and I just found so much strength in going through such a crappy situation. And it's been 2 months. It was just the other day that the anniversary of his birth has passed, and I just dove right back into Beachbody because it's something that keeps me grounded. It's something that keeps me motivated, and it's something that keeps me going. And that has really been my focus lately, is sharing the hope, sharing everything that's happened with him passing and everything we've been dealing with, and just getting back on my feet. So that's really what my business has turned into, has actually been doing the business and helping people overcome their own stories and miscarriages and all that kind of stuff. But I chose to turn it positive because I can't sit and wallow in self-pity over what happened to me and woe is me the whole time, because I have a team to lead, I have children to lead, I have a house to lead, and you just got to go forward and keep pushing. So that's my story so far. Does that work?
Yeah, that's first of all, I think that's an amazing story. You know what I mean? And I think as we go through life, we encounter the highs and we encounter some terrible lows sometimes. You know what I mean? And what we decide to do, like I said, I think will really determine a lot of where we go in this life. And I, first of all, I'd love to just thank you for sharing your story with us, because I know that it is raw, and it is difficult. You know what I mean? To be able to push through that and be able to share that with people is amazing. I applaud you for that. So I have a few questions for you, Allie. You know, we obviously have these, fourth vital behavior, which is recognition, but we also had the other vital behaviors, invite, product of the product, and personal development. How would you say that locking into the 4 vital behaviors has really helped you push through difficult times?
Oh my gosh, it's personal development has been the only thing that's gotten me through the situation that I'm in, and through the whole business, because we all have challenges. We have coaches quit, we have coaches drop rank, we have people return stuff, we have all these things. But if you are really diving into that personal development, you're going to rise above anything that this business and life throws at you. And also just being consistent. I cannot say how important it is to be consistent. I know you guys hear it all the time, but really being a product of the product is completely key to this business. All you need to be doing is a program and sharing your story, and the rest is going to fall into place. So those are my biggest vital behaviors. It's really personal development, because if you don't have your mind on right, you can't really lead a team, you can't really run a business, and you can't really lead your life if your head's not on straight. So personal development, if you're slacking in that area, make it a priority.
I love it. So if you were to kind of look at some of the personal development books that have really been most influential for you, what would you say those books would have been?
Make It Happen is my favorite book by Laura Casey. I think it's Laura Casey. And then also Brene Brown, The Gifts of Imperfections, because I feel like so many times when people sign up to be a Beachbody coach, they think they have to be perfect and that they can't let their imperfections show. But embracing your imperfections and showing that you're not perfect is one of the biggest keys to success in this business. Showing the messy parts of your lives, showing my miscarriage, showing that, and sharing hope with people, and sharing the ups and downs of motherhood and life and marriage and all that stuff. It just really helps ground you, and it helps you relate to people on a totally different level other than Beachbody. So if you haven't read Gifts of Imperfections, I would definitely do that one.
Fantastic. I love that. You know, I was actually meeting with Jeff Hill the other day. We were in a sales meeting, and he talked to us about a few different things I thought was fantastic. One of the things he says was quantum leaps usually comes through the willingness to fail. You know what I mean? And being able to see your imperfections and knowing that you're not always going to get it right? You're not always going to be perfect. And you have to kind of continue pressing forward with the cards that you have in your hand and do the best you can with them. And that's where the real leaps in progress really take place. Another one that he said is like a rocket moving to the moon is off course 90% of the time. Right? But it's just constantly pushing towards the direction it needs to go, and eventually it gets there. So I think it's great that you talked about, sometimes we do have imperfections, and those imperfections can oftentimes be utilized to help us. So that's really great. I think we did have a question here about what the other book was, the first book that you'd mentioned.
The first book was Make It Happen by Laura Casey.
Make it happen. Okay, that's great.
And then I have a quote that I wanted to share.
I love it. Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay. When bad things happen, you have three choices. You can either let it define you, let it destroy you, or let it strengthen you. And that's something I feel like in Beachbody, we have so many things go wrong in our lives. We have so many things go wrong and all these things that can destroy us, or you can let it define you and make you a better person. So I just encourage anybody who's on this call, we're all struggling with something. Either it's weight loss, eating, marriage, something, your kids being crazy. There's so many things. You can let it destroy you and rip you down, or you can pick yourself up and keep going forward, because that's the only way you're going to get to your goals, is to not let your struggles define you, but let them strengthen you.
Oh, I absolutely love that. I do. I 100% believe that life will knock you down sometimes. And when you get knocked down, like you said, you can decide to stay down, or you can decide to get up and push towards your goals. And really what I would ask is what will ultimately make you happier, right? When are you going to feel the most contented and the most fulfilled in your life? And the answer is getting up. It's not always easy though, right? It's definitely not always easy. So you got 4 kids, right? It's just phenomenal. You got 4 sons. And I was joking around with Allie the other day. I think she deserves a medal for having to wrangle all these boys around all the time, because I grew up with 4 kids. How do you what are some things that you do throughout the day? Because I think sometimes time management can really be a huge deal for people, and making sure that they get the most out of their time and their efforts. Like, what are some techniques that you utilize that have been helpful for you to manage all the things you have to do as a mom and having kids and everything else?
I mean, honestly, you got to kind of cut the crap out of your life. So I used to watch a lot of TV and waste a lot of time scrolling Facebook. So I had to cut that. And, my life's actually more fulfilling from cutting that crap out of my life. But I also utilize Google Calendars, and I manage my whole week throughout the calendar. And I put in my power hour, when I'm going to work out, when I'm going to drink my shake. And it really just keeps me on track, because there's timers. Now that I have it down to a schedule, I'm spending less time working than I used to spend the whole day, because I was just so scatterbrained and all over the place. So if you really schedule out your time, you'll see you have so much more time, and you're gonna have more time for your family and your life, which is what a lot of you guys want. So scheduling and sticking to the schedule is insanely key.
Wonderful. I think that's fantastic. One of the things you mentioned earlier was like how crucial being consistent was. And I think having a routine, it totally helps you stay consistent, right? Because it's not, things always happen at the same times. It's easier to fall into the habit of doing what you need to do. Do you have any other tips on staying consistent? Because honestly, it is tough sometimes when you're not seeing the results you're really wanting to see, when you're not seeing things go exactly the way you want it to be. Sometimes it's easy to say, you know what, I'm trying this month, nothing's happening, I'm just going to give up. I'll try again next month. So what would you say as far as like that is concerned? How would you talk to the people who are going through tough times and guide them to be consistent?
I mean, consistency really lays with you. And one of the biggest things I have is a picture of myself when I started Beachbody. And it's hanging in my office. And I know exactly what I was thinking in that picture. I know exactly where my mind was. I was depressed. I was sad. And I look at that picture for motivation, because that's why I started this business. I didn't do it to hit Success Club or hit a certain rank or anything like that. I did it because I wanted to change people's lives. And I think you always have to remember that why, and why you started this business, because that's what's going to fuel you in the times where it gets crappy, or you have returns, or nobody's paying attention to you. That is what's going to keep you consistent. And then just doing it. Get in the rhythm of posting 3 to 5 times a day. Make it a non-negotiable. You guys can do it. Trust me, I didn't think it was possible, but it is. And now I post more than that, because I'm just so used to posting. And if you just make yourself do it, it's going to be a lot easier. Every single day, you're going to get better. And also, do the challenge groups with your challengers. That's one of the biggest things for motivation and consistency, is doing the program with your challengers because they're eager, they're motivated, and they're going to keep you on track. And it's going to keep you getting results. It's going to keep you sharing, being a product of the product, and it's just going to keep you on track. So those are my tips, consistency and staying.
Sorry, can you guys mute your audios really quick? That'd be great. No, Allie, I think that is fantastic. There's a hold on one second. Let me try and get this switched out. Hold on. You guys could mute your audios. That'd be fantastic. All right, let's see here. Okay. Okay, so one of the things that I think that you mentioned is that's totally key is the fact that doing the stuff yourself is so totally crucial. I think there's a reason why we have these 4 vital behaviors out there. If you're not doing it, you really can't expect anybody else to be doing it either, right? You definitely need to be able to lock into that stuff and push towards your goals through doing the 4 vitals. So picking a program and doing it with your people is huge. John C. Maxwell always talks about, well, in one of his books, he talks about the law of the lid, in that you really can't expect the people in your team or in your organization to do something you're not doing yourself, right? So you're the lid to your organization. You determine how high or how low that's going to be. So making sure that you're locking into personal development is huge. Making sure you're locking into using Shakeology and doing our programs are fantastic. And believe me, one of the things that I think I've seen, and Allie, you can jump in on this as well, is that I believe that like spiritually, mentally, physically, everything kind of like intertwines in our life. And if one of those aspects is waning, then it will affect everything. So making sure you're locked in is huge. So
Yeah,
Allie, oh, go ahead.
I totally agree with what you're saying because I love the quote, the speed of the leader is the speed of the pack. You have to be leading your team. If you're not doing a program, they're not going to do a program. If you're telling them to post 3 to 5 times a day and you're not doing it, they're not going to. So just being super engaged with your team and being a leader, be the coach you want your coaches to be. That is another big thing that I'm always thinking. What kind of coach do I want on my team? I don't want somebody who's going to skip days, skip workouts, not be drinking Shakeology. So think about who you want on your team and be that coach, because that's what's going to lead your team to be the coaches you want them to be.
Oh, that's fantastic. So one of the things I'd love for you to chat with everybody about is this whole leadership mantle that you wear so well. You've done an amazing job at leading your team. And for those of you who aren't really familiar with, what it is to become an elite coach, it basically is helping your team succeed. You help your team hit Success Club. You bring in new coaches and you help them, grow their businesses. You help them recruit. You help them rank advance. And that's something that Allie was able to really champion last year, and she's well on her way to doing it again this year. So Allie, how have you found it? What are some tips as far as motivating your team and helping them overcome hard times as well?
I mean, it's really just leveling with them, telling them exactly where you've been, because we all struggle. We all struggle throughout the month to hit Success Club, to sell challenge packs, to stay on track with our programs, but just staying in close contact with my team is super key. We do weekly calls and just talk about what we're struggling with or what we need to overcome. And we're always coming up with new ideas because, sometimes you can't sell a challenge pack or a program. So running free groups might be the best thing for you to get your motivation up and to get your feet wet and to grow your network. So I'm a big pusher of doing free groups because it's easy to fill and you're helping people for free, which is great because they're not having to pay for a program. They don't feel like they're being sucked into anything. And it's just a great confidence booster for when things get low and you're not feeling too great about the business. It just helps you and it helps grow your network. And it's just really all about staying in close contact with your team and doing push groups with them and helping them one-on-one get to their goals, because everybody goes at different paces and no pace is right or wrong. So you have to be in close contact with your coach on what pace you want to go so they know what you're thinking. Because I can't read all my coaches' minds. I have no idea what they're thinking unless they're talking to me. And all of us are motivated differently too. So it's all about just getting to know your coaches and all that kind of stuff. Does that make sense?
It makes total sense. Yeah, I think that makes great sense. And you've done like I said, you've done a fantastic job of really being able to help your coaches succeed and move forward. So I think that's great. One of the things I think about oftentimes, like I lost, what was it, like 25 pounds or something like that since being with Beachbody. So it's been cool, you know. But it is frustrating. I remember just feeling frustrated a lot of times because you'll go to the gym, you'll spend, 2 or 3 weeks there, and you don't necessarily always see a change right away, right? And I think that's where most people fall off, is they're like, dude, I've been doing this 2 weeks and I still weigh the same amount. So getting back to that consistency that you were hitting on earlier, I think is a big deal too, because if you consistently put in the efforts that you need to do, like eating clean, making sure you do your workouts, doing all of that stuff, the results will come. You know what I mean? And it's the same way with the business. In my mind, when you stay consistent with doing your power hours and doing your free groups and doing different things like that, you may not see the results all the time. You may not be able to bring in new coaches every single day, but as you have faith that your actions are on point, you're going to be in a good spot towards the end of the month. So I think this is great. As far as like a daily, your daily routine, Allie, I'd love to kind of have everybody get a glimpse into your world so they can kind of see what it takes to get where you're at. So can you walk us through kind of what you do on a daily basis?
I mean, my power hours are non-negotiable every single day. I'm really not the best at tracking people, so I've tried to really hone in on being a better tracker, because that is key to be able to follow up and to do all that stuff. But most of my day is spent during my power hour reaching out to people who I've talked to throughout the month, and really just helping my coaches and running our challenge group and growing my network. Scotty Hobbs said something on a call about growing your network, how when we all start the business, we have a deck of cards, and that's our followers. So we have this deck of cards, and we'll pick out a few. I think he calls them aces. Those are like the challenge packs for coaches that we sell to. So pick out a few of those, and then you'll try to go through that deck of cards again, and there won't be any aces left. And you're kind of like, what the hell? What's going on? But you have to be adding to that deck of cards. You can't expect results to come from the same exact deck of cards every single month. So that's why it's important to be networking. Growing on social media is huge. And one of the biggest ways to grow on social media isn't really necessarily sharing your fitness journey. It's about the other 80% of your life and honing in on what your niche market is. Because I can tell you, I connect with more people on mothering or now miscarriage or home renovations and stuff like that. So I would really suggest that you guys make a list of 10 things that represent you other than Beachbody, and focus on that about 80% of your time, sprinkling in Beachbody like that, because a lot of people just go hardcore Beachbody all the way, and you kind of scare people off a little bit. So you just kind of want to sprinkle it in here and there and ease people into what you're doing. They're going to take notice of what you're doing because they're going to see how great you look and how happy you are. But really focus on that other 80% of your life on your social media, because that's how you're going to connect to different people on different levels. And that's going to help grow your network. And then when you do the free groups, that's who you're going to bring into your Facebook network. And then you're going to be able to talk to them a little bit more and get that relationship going a little bit more. And it just helps ease everybody into what you're doing, instead of saying, hey, sign up for a challenge pack. I'm running a group this day. Please sign up. Here's my link. Like, don't do that. Ease in and get to know people on a normal level, not just a Beachbody level.
Oh, wow. That's absolutely awesome. I love that analogy with the deck of cards. I think that's great, because really you do go through your aces and you need to add more people. Not everybody you talk to is going to come into the business. So I think that's absolutely amazing advice. And I appreciate you having, being willing to come and do this call with us today. So is there any parting advice you would say, just as far as ending this month strong? What would you say to these guys? And if they were your team, what would you say to them in order to end this month strong?
I mean, stick with it, you guys. Months are going to be good. They're going to be bad, but follow up. The biggest thing I can say is follow up with everybody you've ever talked to about a challenge group or a challenge pack, and tell them, hey, we're starting our next challenge group on May 4th, and I only have 3 spots left. I'd love for you to join us. I know we chatted about it. What do you think? And just checking up like that, and maybe giving them a little compliment like, hey, I saw you were on vacation, or your daughter's birthday, you look so cute, blah, blah, blah. But follow up with those people, because half the time they just totally forgot about ordering and they still want to get fit and they just haven't had the time to do it. So just reaching out to them might trigger it for them to purchase. And I've had so many coaches hit Success Club 5 and 10 in the last couple of days of the month, just from that simple message of reaching out to somebody they've talked to months ago about a challenge pack. So I would really push that and just do your best and keep going. I can't even tell you how important it is to keep going, because people are watching, people are waiting to reach out to you. They just want a chance to reach out to you, or a reason to reach out to you. So make sure your posts are asking them questions or really engaging with them and getting to know them on a different level. And you guys will grow so much when you don't just post Beachbody. I can't tell you how important that aspect is of it too.
Wow, thank you so much. I think that was wonderful advice. I think this is the time right now, if you guys are struggling, just like Allie said, to pick yourselves up, dust yourselves off, and do the best you can towards the end of the month. When the month ends, win, lose, or draw, no matter where you end up with your Success Club, with how many coaches you recruited, or whatever that may be, you will know looking back that you did your best, and you won't have anything to regret. So Allie, I definitely super excited to have you on this call. Very, very flattered that you came and shared your story with everybody and these amazing tips. So thank you so much for joining the call today. And guys, thank you as well for joining and listening to Allie. Just so everybody knows, we're going to be doing another call here in 30 minutes on the same link, which is going to be great. If you guys want to come and join that in the Top Coach Academy with the Central Region, you're more than welcome to join that as well. Thank you so much, Allie. Thanks, everybody, for joining, and we'll catch you guys later. Thanks.